I'm Matt Coleman, Executive Director at Inflection, formerly known as the Educational Policy Center. We are a not-for-profit consulting group that does research really focused on college and career readiness. And the bulk of our work is working to get systems, be it state level, district level, and certainly school level systems, to be thinking about readiness more holistically and recognize that being academically prepared is both a cognitive endeavor as well as a metacognitive endeavor. And so really preparation and readiness is not just about a cut, score, and smarter balanced. We consult with hundreds of schools and a handful of districts and a handful of county offices and educational service districts, et cetera, as well as doing some work at the state level and with other types of intermediary organizations. I started the program when I was 31 years old and was a relatively new, young vice principal at a low high school. And at the time, I knew I wanted to be a large high school principal, and I knew I wanted to be relatively early in my administrative career or in the next several years, and I knew I would be competing with people that had a lot more experience. And so I felt like the DED was going to give me a leg up in terms of kind of my aspiration to be a high school principal. I hadn't been thinking, someday I'll be at the district level, someday I'll be running a nonprofit consulting research group that focuses on issues of secondary school change. That wasn't in my head. I just knew that I wanted to be competitive in being a large high school, in terms of landing a large high school principalship job. And I was into research. I was into them. I'm kind of wired that way. But really, my only mindset going in was I want to make sure that I had a leg up and was able to kind of be in a position to choose. So that's what I went into it. And what I didn't realize at the time was that having the doctorate opens all kinds of doors that honestly I wouldn't even been able to see. When I think about the program, I'm a huge advocate for it. I'm a huge advocate for the concept of an educational doctorate as well as PhDs. I think it's critical, and I think for the University of Oregon it's critical for the College of Ed to be generating the knowledge, and that's kind of what the PhD folks do. And I think it's equally critical that they be helping folks that are out in the field figure out how to translate that knowledge to practice. And that to me is what the DED is all about. It's giving you enough information, enough understanding to be dangerous in a good way in terms of understanding the research and understanding the emerging trends and being able to kind of navigate and negotiate what works and what doesn't and why. To really to have a level of discipline in terms of how you think, in terms of what you're doing. And I know for me it's been hugely success. It's been a huge part of my success. I look back and the way I often talk about it is the way I'm disciplined in the way that I look at things. The way that I am able to construct arguments, the way that I'm able to deconstruct other arguments, the way that I'm able to see the whole system as well as the component parts. I could go back to all the different courses, whether it be learning organizations or some of the methods courses, and I attribute my success really as a school administrator, somebody who's been able to be a part of some significant change efforts, both as a principal and as an assistant sup, and then now in the role I'm in now, to my DED and to my experience, at the University of Oregon in the program. So the primary thing you get is a network, and that's my joke with Conley is it's who I know and it's what you know, Dave, and we can be dangerous if we put ourselves together. And there's truth to it, that you start to make these kind of connections that just kind of ripple out. You expand your social network in a different way, your professional network, in some ways that are really unique. I don't step into a district level role if I don't get to know Nancy Golden. The reason I moved to Springfield is because of Nancy. The reason I knew Nancy was because of the DED program. I have had a number of different opportunities that I can attribute directly to Keith Hollenbeck and Jerry Tyndall, to the faculty who, to this day, and again, 17 years later, I could draw some connections to opportunities I've had that have been directly because of them. And so, you do expand your network. And I personally, and especially from a school change perspective, and recognize the DED is really about policy to practice or theory to practice. It is a critical piece in your development as an administrator, specifically as a teacher leader, whatever role that you're playing, developing a network. And that's kind of built in to the program. I mean, I think it's more explicit today than it was even when I was in the program, but it's naturally part of what happens. But I know that in the program today, they're looking to be even more intentional with it. Our center's involved with some of the new thinking around how to support individuals, and I get individuals that are in the DED program, and I get excited about it because we're going to have an opportunity. I'm going to have an opportunity, but we as an organization have an opportunity to expand our network. And so I kind of believe in the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and the reality is it's more like 1 or 2 degrees. But this is being in this type of a program is going to allow you to expand your reach. I would not have guessed, when I was 31 and started the program, that 17 years later, I'd be doing what I'm doing now, which is, I've got arguably one of the coolest jobs anywhere because I run around seeing what works and what doesn't work and getting to help and work with a group of people that help schools do better by kids. So I wouldn't have guessed that. And I know it's because the DED not only opened doors, but was able to show me doors that I would have not been able to see. I wouldn't have known existed.